The most common images of tourism are sun, sea and sand, and Margarita Island in the Venezuelan Caribbean has all of them. And it's also a good place to see where Latin American tourism is going and how it's adapting to new realities. The island hosted this year's FITVEN, the International Tourism Fair. All the countries involved seem to agree on two aspects: the need for more sustainable tourism and that tourism should respect and integrate with local communities so that they can benefit from this industry.
We need a kind of tourism that doesn't replace other economic activities. It has to complement other economic activities. Taking the example of the beach and the fishermen must be integrated with the tourism development of their coastal area. For example, in the morning they can fish, and in the afternoon they could work as guides. This is the future of tourism, and we're working to have a tourism that distributes revenues better.
The aim then is to make sure that everyone can benefit from the tourism sector, not just those who are directly working within it. Margarita Island's other main industry is fishing. So does tourism also have benefits for them? It would seem that the two industries here at least work quite well together.
I've lived from tourism most of my life. Before I worked in a restaurant, and now I work as a fish salesman selling to restaurants. During the high tourist season, everybody sells their goods: the fishermen, the restaurants, the shops. Everyone's happy.
It seems logical to have close relations between tourism and local industries, such as fishing, but there are still more benefits for communities with high tourism. In Venezuela, university students must fulfill some social service obligations to get their degrees, and the University of Margarita, UNIMAR, takes advantage of this. They created a project in which students teach foreign languages to local people who would normally not have access.
We're working to increase the use of English and also French, but local communities demand mostly English. We're also preparing some manuals with the most common expressions in English to distribute them to people working in the street markets, such as bakers, those who sell religious icons and traditional craftwork, or people working in the food sector.
Back at the tourism fair, we see how the industry is adapting on a larger scale. Countries use it not only as a source of revenue, but also to project a view of their country to the wider world. One example is Colombia. Often described as a dangerous country because of drugs trafficking and conflict, they're trying to change this image, as their slogan shows, "The only risk is wanting to stay."
With this slogan, we want the world to see us in a different way. We want to change the perception of a dangerous country that we had in the past. And we're seeing positive results. The number of tourists who come to Colombia has greatly increased. In 4 years, it went from 1 million per year to 2.5 million.
Cuba is facing important changes too. But in their case, the Cubans don't use tourism directly to change their image. They take advantage of being a top tourism destination to attract people, so that they can see what Cuba is like for themselves.
Cuba has its political reality, and it's not from now, it's from 50 years ago. Trying to change this image is impossible. But we have 2.5 million tourists who come to Cuba every year, and they see what Cuba is really like.
The story is similar across all of the countries at the fair, where the main conclusions were that tourism needs to adapt to the constant evolution of society and a changing world, while also integrating better with local communities.